Hello, welcome to another pen talk. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll find this fun and interesting. I've talked about my pen collection, which is fairly substantial, and it's been collected over 50 years, and I continue to add to it. So this is one of my additions to my collection. I wanted this pen. I happened to, much to my luck and amazement, I happened to snag it pretty well on eBay a little over a year ago. Now I'll show you a current eBay ad for a similar pen, and it's all buy it now. So at the time I purchased this pen, it was something you could bid on, and I just happened to get in there when no one else was bidding, and got it for significantly less than the current buy it now pricing. Very familiar Japanese pen manufacturer. Very nice box, plain, typical of the Japanese packaging. As we open it up, we find a nice brown box with some kind of suede-like coating on the surface. So as we open up the box, we see some literature, and this hopefully is familiar to some. We have the standard platinum instructions. It came with the platinum converter. They have their own converter. It also came with a cartridge, actually two cartridges in case you wanted to use cartridges. And this is the pen. Very nice presentation. I would assume that this pen is fairly expensive in Japan, relatively speaking. One of the things that I learned, I spent some time in Japan, and one of the things that I read about a lot is the Japanese give pens as gifts. And this pen obviously would make a beautiful gift to somebody. This is, they call it a Urushi Maki-e, and this booklet has a Japanese description, and on the other side they have an English description. I'm not going to go into details on the technique. If you want to look it up, there's lots of stuff on the internet regarding this technique of applying designs and lacquers. It's done by hand, so every pen is unique. And as you can see from the reflections, it's extremely polished. The clip could use a little bit of additional polish. This pen has probably been in my collection for over a year. I'm going to try to bring out the detail in the Maki-e. Thankfully my pen has a close focus option on it, so hopefully this is bringing out, it's just impressive. I think this model is the Phoenix model based on the bird that's there. And like I said, each of these are unique, so if you do decide to purchase one, it'll probably be slightly different as far as what's been put onto the pen. One of the things that Maki-e is known for is using what appears to be precious metals. This may be a gold flake paint, or it could be something just to represent gold. Considering the price of this pen, I can't imagine them actually using gold on it. Hopefully you're getting an appreciation of the detail and design that went into making this pen. I have a nice northern type of light, so hopefully you're able to pick out those details, and it's just exquisite. I wanted to have a pen like this in my collection, and as I said, I was able to get this one at a fairly decent price. It's a slip-off cap, classic platinum section, which is quite nice. It's long. It's somewhat on the small side, but certainly quite usable, and has a little flare-out little metal end at the end of the section. The nib is an 18-karat nib. I would say it's on the fine to medium fine. Japanese nibs, as usual, run a little bit finer. Has the classic platinum feed, which I have in a number of pens. As you can see, this pen has never been inked. and it may never be inked. I'm very familiar with how this nib writes. It has a little bit of flexibility to it. Can write a very, very fine line, good feed. I'm not concerned about the ability of this pen to perform, if it is called upon to perform, but the primary purpose of this pen is eye candy, something to enjoy looking at. Obviously, very different from anything else I have in my collection. You know, I've been collecting the Deltas because I just fell in love with how they look, but there they use the materials, the acrylics, the resins to produce their design. This is an artist with a brush and probably takes many days to produce this design, which is amazing based on the price I was able to get the pen at. So hopefully you enjoyed this eye candy. I'll show you the eBay auction. It's still going on, and it probably will be going on for a while. The supplier, the Japanese supplier, seems to have a pretty good supply of these because, like I say, I bought this a year ago, and they still have this pen on auction. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Sorry, there's not going to be any writing, but as I mentioned to you before, this is not a nib that you're going to get anything out of from a writing example. But I wanted you to hopefully get a close-up and appreciate this technique and maybe get motivated to possibly add one to your collection. Enjoy. I appreciate your comments on my videos. The pen giveaway was pretty successful. And one of the requests was to always show a comparison of a pen that I'm reviewing with other pens. So here is the comparison for the Platinum Maki-e pen. This is Platinum 3776. This is your classic Lamy Safari and your Pelican M800. As you can see, the Maki-e holds its own in this collection. It's a little shorter, a little thinner, but certainly not a small pen. If you take a look at the clip here, you can see some interesting techniques with the parallel lines. Obviously a little bit different design. I may do a review on this Platinum 3776 because it is a very nice resin that is used for the pen. This is your Lamy Safari, which makes the Maki-e look a little bit small, but again, two different pens, two different purposes, and obviously two different price points. And of course the M800 also kind of makes it look a little bit on the small side. We'll do an uncapping. And we'll do a nib comparison, which I think might be interesting with this series. So as you compare it with the 3776, you'll notice obviously the 3776 has a much bigger nib. Also, we're talking a much different price point. But again, it also has the gold at the end of the section. As you can turn it over, you can notice that the 3776 has a more classic feed versus the feed on the Maki-e. Taking a look at the Lamy pen, sorry for that, you'll notice a decent amount of similarities with the nib. The design of the nib is very common. I don't know what I want to call this. It's a stamped slip-on nib, and as you can see, the feed also is quite similar. This probably is not a fair comparison because this is completely two different price points, completely two different pens, but obviously the M800 makes the nib on the Platinum Maki-e look kind of insignificant, but size is not everything.